Things are getting awfully spicy as we're sitting right here in the middle of Week 14 of the NFL season. So we're going to look into it a little bit, see how the Ravens fare in this AFC playoff picture, and then we'll take a little bit of a deeper dive into that AFC North to see the chances of possibly winning that division and what might shake out for the rest of this season. You're not going to want to miss anything in today's episode to get you caught up on everything from the past 13 weeks of the season and how it affects the future 5 and the playoff race ultimately. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This is Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen, and I want to do something today, okay? I'm going to challenge you because I want to break a record on today's show. Last December, the record for likes in a single show was 384. Can we break it on today's? 400 likes. That's what I'm going for. We need you guys to help us get there. So if you haven't liked the video already, hit the thumbs up button. Let's break some records and let's get into it. Alrighty, we take a look at the little bit of an AFC playoff picture, and let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into what the Ravens' actual percentages are. So as they sit right now, they have a 21.5% chance to get the number 3 seed, a 29.3% chance to get the number 5 seed, which is the second highest percent chance for something to happen, the 32.5% chance to get the 6th seed, which is exactly where they sit right now, okay? So things can change coming up, but you're going to need some things to happen. And unfortunately, those things didn't really happen this past week, because when we look at the Week 13 results of where pretty much everybody you're fighting for spots with in that AFC playoff picture, man, they had a really good week, and that's just putting it lightly. The Chiefs beat the Las Vegas Raiders, and barely, I mind you, but they beat them by a final score of 19-17. Then the Bills beat San Francisco, Steelers beat Cincinnati, Texans beat Jacksonville, Chargers beat Atlanta, and the Ravens lost to the Eagles. We're not going to talk about that one much longer. And then the Broncos, they beat Cleveland on Monday Night Football. Colts beat New England barely by a score of 25-24. And yep, that's right. You're seeing that correctly. Every single team that the Ravens are fighting for playoff spots with won their matchups in Week 13. Every single one of them. All we got to do from here on out is hope and pray that that does not happen again. Before we get into anything else on today's video, I got to ask you guys, let me know, what is your confidence level in the Ravens making a playoff run? Okay? Scale it for me in the comment section down below. If you're really confident about it, give me a 10. If you're not really confident about it, go ahead and give me a 1. But you guys just make sure you let me know in the comment section down below. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. YouTube's about to throw you an ad break. And when that happens, give your answer for me, 1 to 10. So let's talk that playoff picture, okay? Because you saw the results and you saw everything else, but how does it all shake out? So as of right now, the Chiefs are in that number 1 seed. They've got a pretty good chance at keeping that number 1 seed. And then the Bills are at the number 2. Steelers are in that number 3. Chargers in that number 4 spot. Now you ask yourself, Joey, we just beat the Chargers. How did they jump up above us? Well, they're 8-4. We're 8-5. They've got 1 less loss than we do. Texans are at the number 4 spot. Then Chargers, they're at the number 5, first in the wild card. Then the Ravens, they're at number 6. Broncos at number 7. And the Colts that's the team that's kind of knocking on that door to possibly sneak in at the 7th spot. So, will things change this upcoming week? Well, I hope so. Let's take a little bit of a look at the Week 14 matchups. So, who each of these teams play in their upcoming games in Week 14. The Chiefs, they play the Chargers at home in Arrowhead Stadium. The Rams, they host the Bills in SoFi. Steelers, they play against the Browns at home. Texans are on a bye. Chargers, again, we talked about it, they're playing the Chiefs. Ravens, Broncos, and Colts, they're all on a bye. Of course, that Week 14 bye. Coming late, but hey, at this point, we're kind of excited about it. So what are we rooting for? What do we need to have happen over on week 14, when we're watching football on Sunday, we're watching football on Monday, what should we be rooting for as Ravens fans to happen in this one? Well, first off, you need the Chiefs to beat the Chargers. And I also hear what you're saying, okay? I know you're saying, Joey, it's impossible for me to beat the Chiefs. But guys, you need the Chargers to drop. If the Chargers drop to 8-5, then you got the same record as they do. And then you pass them, and you're that number 5, that top wildcard seed. And that changes things. Then you got a road matchup against the Houston Texans instead of a road matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? You need the Browns to beat the Steelers, okay? You need the Steelers to pretty much lose every game they're playing from here on out to give you a better chance of winning that AFC North. And then this last one, it's not like that big of a deal, but you do want the Jets to beat the Dolphins because the Dolphins are kind of right behind the Colts, vying for that 7th spot in the wild card. And just the more amount of those teams to lose, I think at the end of the day, it's just better for this team. Coming up, a little bit of an AFC North breakdown where the Ravens sit right now, where I think they'll fare by the end of the year. But before all of that, I got to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the most exciting and the easiest way to play daily fantasy sports. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. And PrizePicks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus because it is guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to massive payouts like Taco Tuesday. Sometimes they just randomly discount a player's selections, and that square has a higher % chance of winning. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. Let's take a look at my picks for this upcoming Sunday slate of NFL football. I got Saquon Barkley going more than 106.5 rushing yards against Carolina. That one kind of seems like a no-brainer to me. And then I've got Bucky Irving, also with the more against Las Vegas, 70.5 rushing yards for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, let's look and see how the AFC North sits right now. Okay, Steelers in that number 1 spot, a game and a half above the Baltimore Ravens. They're sitting at 9-3, already had their bye week. Baltimore with the bye week out coming is sitting at second place. They are at 8-5. Bengals, Browns, 4-8 and 3-9. Who would have thought that at this point in the year, the Browns would only have one more loss than the Bengals? So if you see that 4-8, that 3-9 record, they're already out of AFC North contention. This is just a 2-team race between the Baltimore Ravens and between the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you look at the odds right now as they sit, Steelers are the favorites. They're sitting at -175, which means 65.6% chance to win it. The Ravens, they're at +140, meaning they have a 34.2% chance to win it at this point, okay? Now, a lot of things can happen, especially if Cleveland somehow pulls off a miracle and beats the Steelers this upcoming Sunday, then those odds are going to shift a little bit, okay? I'll get into more of the schedules of the remaining schedule for Pittsburgh, the remaining schedule of Baltimore, but I got a question real quick for you guys. Will the Ravens win the division? If you think yes, go ahead and type Y down in the comment section for me. And if you think no, go ahead and type in. If you want to, go ahead and give me reasons why, okay? If you think the Ravens are not playing great ball right now, if you think that's why they're not going to win the division, go ahead. Say that in the comment section. Don't be shy. And if you got a reason why you think they're going to win it, let me know down below as well. So the Ravens' remaining games. They got the Giants. They got the Steelers, Texans, and Browns. Giants is on the road, Texans on the road as well, Browns and Steelers both at home. It's tough because you got 3 games in a 10-day stretch. From Sunday to the following Wednesday, you're playing 3 football games. which I think is a little bit of BS, but like, it's just how the scheduling came out. There's just not much you can do about it at this point. But I think you got to win 3 of those games. I think the Giants, you have to win that one. I think the Browns, you have to win that one. I think you need to split one between the Steelers and Texans. I think you can win both, but I think you need to split one between those two. You'd prefer it to be the game against the Steelers. I mean, you kind of have it be the game against the Steelers. So the Steelers games remaining, what they've got left on their schedule, they play the Browns this upcoming week, Sunday, December 8th. Then they travel to Philadelphia. Then they travel to Baltimore. And then they have Kansas City at home. And then they end out their schedule taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay? So their schedule, their stretch is not easy by any stretch of the word, right? They've got a lot more of tough games ahead of them. And you need Baltimore to win 3, and I think you need Pittsburgh to lose 3, okay? If that happens, then they would end up with the same exact record. So, Joey, what happens when 2 teams have the exact same record? Great question. Then you go into the tiebreakers, okay? And here's the tiebreakers. You first look at head-to-head. Well, if they had the same exact record and Baltimore beat Pittsburgh, then they would head-to-head would be a split. So then you go, what's next? Okay, best one-loss tie percentage in division games. So what your divisional record is, what your AFC North record is at the moment. So right now, where the Ravens are sitting for their AFC record, they're sitting at 2-2. They still got a game against the Browns. They still got a game against the Steelers. You win both those, you're sitting at 4-2. You're sitting at a pretty good spot, okay? And then if you have the same divisional record, because there's still a chance you do have the same divisional record, then, well, after that, you go to the best win-loss tie percentage, so your winning percentage in common games. So games where you both play the exact same people, okay? So there's a lot still left to be played for. There's a lot still left to be looked at in terms of this playoff race, in terms of what's left in this season. I know people are like freaking out and kind of giving up hope. But guys, like, that is so silly. There's still so much to play for. There's still so much that can happen. I mean, if you look at the playoff picture, this thing is still wide open. Sure, you already got Kansas City. You already got Buffalo, who have clinched the spots in their respective divisions. But man, you can still get that 3 spot at the end of the day. I know that seems absolutely crazy, but believe me, it's true. And then you could still always move up to that number 5 spot. Worst comes to worst, you're playing a road game against the Houston Texans, who haven't shown you much this year. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me that you guys watch this channel, that you guys tune in for live shows, that you guys like the videos, subscribe, all that stuff. It really is not lost on me. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and hit that subscribe button, because we're here every single day for the entire year.